Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm hanging out today.
Hanging out, having a good weekend so far.
So far, so good, actually. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Having a pretty good weekend too. I was needing to do a little yard work, and I thought to myself,
Same.
some yard work and gardening, it's always an amazing thing. And then I realized I've really neglected my garden this year because of school and work and all this other stuff. But I was like,
I know. I was like, where's all my veggies?
I know,
Where's all
seriously.
my
It's
herbs
like
at? What's going on?
the herbs that I throw your way just like all gone, and because it's like I only got a couple of herbs left that are just kind of like self-sustaining. I was like, wow, I've really just let this go because
Hmm.
I'm just in, doing my own thing. So I was like, wouldn't that be a great show to talk about plant parenthood, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
Like, so we are here talking about our plants because
Our plant
planting,
babies.
yeah, whether it's indoor gardening or outdoor gardening, gardening is an incredible thing. But like, there's been ever since COVID, there's been this huge boom for people who have plants or plant babies or whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
I know at my office, one of my office neighbors there, he just has all these plants in his office, like all kinds of them. And I started to notice like a couple of others are starting to bring small plants. I have two plants in my office. I have an ivy and then I have a snake plant. And so I spritz them every day. So I kind of go through my own little routine. I know Roxy, you have quite a few plants there at the house, right?
I do. Indoor gardener here.
Yeah. And you have a special little guest on your end to show us,
I
right?
do.
Let's see that beautiful little thing. I can't say it's little anymore because
It's not. She's gotten so big since I
I
got
know.
her.
And then this
But she
one's one
got
we found
flowers.
at. Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
beautiful, isn't
She's
it?
so
That
tall. Like she
I
used to. She was
I
like this little, like this tall
yeah,
when I got her.
I love the
Gotten
splotches
so
of purple on
big.
it. And that's one we found at the farmers market, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that was quite lovely. I remember seeing it and I was like, wow, that's a beautiful plant.
I know. I love the colors on her leaves, and I was like, I want that one.
Yes,
I
yeah.
don't know what it is, but I want
Yeah,
it.
and she sure did, and she got it, and it's been thriving since. And this
Yeah,
is
she's growing.
this is my little baby that I keep around the house here and there. I kind of move it. It's a little succulent. See, I call it suck because it's a succulent. But it's kind of cute. I like it. It kind of just fell to me, but I love it. Keep it a little moist and everything, and keep it happening. And has a very small root system because it's a
Oh
small little
yeah.
plant. But I just keep it and water it on occasion, and it just gets happier and happier. It's a lot wider than what it used to be, so which is kind of cool. But
Today is watering day for my babies.
it is okay, so gotta
Hmm.
water them up. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about like maybe you're thinking about starting your own little garden, or you want to start doing plants, and you don't know exactly what to do. Because the beauty about gardening is you
See,
have, yeah,
I have
you
no
get
clue what I'm doing.
you have all kinds of, you know, different plants. You can do home plants or just little house plants like succulents or the peace lily that Roxy has and the tree that she has
That's my
back
favorite
there.
right here.
You can do house plants or you can do garden. Actually, the interesting thing is you can do herbal gardening indoors and
Hmm.
outdoors. And some people have even gone as far as doing like indoor veggie gardens. I'll never forget, like years and years ago, I was dating this woman and she lived in an apartment complex, and there was this guy who kind of lived catty corner from her, and you could look up on his balcony and no joke, he had a potted orange tree and it was producing oranges. And then he had a couple of other little things in some pots. But it's like you can do that if you put enough time and effort
Yeah,
into it, um,
I would
to
love to
kind
have
of
my
get
own
things
little
like
veggie
that.
garden.
It, it's it's amazing. It really is wonderful. So Roxy, before we go on, let me Do what I do and share screen with you. Now, before I fully do that, so you're not doing any like veggies or herbs or anything like that in your house, right? You're just doing the
No,
plants,
I'm
right?
just
Okay.
doing plants right now. I want to like, segue into that at some point, but right now I just want to keep these alive.
And see, and I get that. So for me, like I have a house and a yard. So I have a few things out there that I really enjoy, like fig tree. I have a fig tree. I love my fig tree. I know I sent Roxy some figs this year. And
Mm-hmm.
also I just like for
They're
me,
tasty, by the way.
awesome. I literally just go out there and I'll eat them right off the tree
I
because they're
used to do
just
that at
right
my
there. I
grandparents'
love it. Um, and I kind of grew up doing that too. So that's why I have such a thing for fig trees. I have an
house.
apple tree out there, but apple trees require two trees because they have to cross pollinate. So you need
Mm-hmm.
the bees and everything else to cross pollinate it. Uh, Only down to one. A freeze took out the other one.
Mm.
I have some lemongrass growing right now and some basil, but nothing too major.
I need you to
Normally,
get a dragon fruit tree.
you know what? I had one, sadly, and that went away, but I'm gonna get another one, a dragon fruit. And it's the beauty about dragon fruit is it's a cactus, so it just
Hmm.
grows and then develops these delicious fruits. So I'm gonna get back to that. Like I said, this year was a little difficult because of school and everything
Hmm.
else. And then it seems like this year's just, I mean, it's always hot here, but it seems like Death Valley kind of hot type of situation.
These last
So,
few days too. Ooh.
yeah, seriously, and it's only getting worse because we haven't even, I mean, we're in August now. We haven't hit deep August where it's like, you know,
Sweltering.
the oven's on full blast type of situation. But let's get back to
Preheating
it.
right now.
Yeah, so yeah, we're at the preheat type of situation over here. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at some exciting little household things here. My mouse doesn't want to work with me for some reason. So Roxy, a veggie garden for starters, or
Woo!
25 of the best indoor plants. One is
Ooh.
by Home and Garden, and the other one is by Country Living. Guess which is
Let's
which?
start with the ones that are hard to kill.
Let's start with crap. I don't know which ones are hard to kill, but we'll do 25 of the best indoor plants that are hard to kill. According to this article, and this article is by Good Housekeeping, and it was written by Alyssa
I can't see.
Gautierei.
Gautier?
Gatire. And this is, look at us being somewhat current. May 16th, 2025. So here we go. Let's just kind of take a look at some of these. Ooh, this is a nice looking one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is like a sibling to that one
Yep.
or
This
something.
is known as the dumb cane, and it's apparently a hard to kill one. It's very lovely. This one is the red prayer plant.
Mm.
You know, this kind of almost looks similar to your little baby there.
No, her leaves are different.
Yeah, but I mean, like the color
Oh
scheme
yeah, the
kind of
color, yeah.
similar to yours. And
The
let's
money tree. I want one
money
of those.
trees. Yes, everyone loves a good money tree. Now, money trees are just they will spread like wildfire too. So I know this because my mom has one. So they drop
I
these little
killed the one I
seedlings.
had.
Oh,
I don't know
apparently it
how
wasn't that
hard to
hard for
kill it
you.
is, but I killed it.
Birds of paradise.
Oh.
If you put this in the yard, this will become massive. And I'm going to tell you, I have one growing on the side of the house. It
Hmm.
is huge. It is
Gigantic.
a massive, massive plant. It's actually gotten as tall as the house itself.
Oh wow.
A rubber plant.
Rubber plant.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of those in a while, but those are pretty good and they are difficult to kill.
Mm. I
This
want
one,
a monstera, but I've heard that they are very finicky.
mm,
I've heard that They are very picky and they are hard to, that's not a good beginner plant from what I was told.
It may not be because I now this one I've never kind of grown or dealt with, so I really have no idea. Um,
Because I want one. I want a big one.
it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like watering going on, every 1 to 2 weeks. Bright to medium indirect sunlight. It doesn't seem to this plant is toxic to cats and dogs though. So that's
I
something
definitely won't
that
get
if
one
you
because my baby,
yeah, you have to be careful about certain
she
house
likes to
plants.
nibble on plants.
Yeah, certain house plants will are definitely a problem. A parlor palm, which
Hmm.
is kind of cute. It's just like a small, teeny tiny little palm looking tree, not quite a palm
Yeah,
tree, but it's kind of nice. Same watering effect, but it does not say anything about being an issue for pets. Well, this one I just kind of like.
it's cute.
String of pearls. It's
And the
very
little pot
cute.
is cute.
Yeah, the pot is cute, but the plant itself is pretty awesome too. This plant is also, but this plant is toxic to dogs and cats. So
Keep it
interesting.
away.
A
The-
fiddle leaf fig.
See, I also heard that this one was a hard plant to maintain for
Hmm.
beginners. But because I want one of these too, they're so beautiful.
They do look quite lovely, don't they?
There used to be a gentleman that lived in my complex. He lived further down, and there's a window like in the living room, I guess. I think it's in the living room. But he had his fake plant right there. He had that tree, and I watched that tree grow. And I was like, because I used to walk the dogs through there, and that plant would be right there in the path. So it was
Mm.
so cool to watch how it would grow and then see it like all big.
Oh,
And so when watching that one, I wanted one, but I was like, I'll kill that thing.
the beauty about plants is there's something about it where you take them and you plant them and they're itty bitty, and after a little bit they just shoot up, and it makes you feel good that
Hmm.
they're growing the way that they do. It really is it gives you this sense of pride, but it also
I
gives
did
you a
it.
sense of accomplishment as well, that you're doing so good with I'm sorry, I'm fighting with my dogs over here, with your plants and everything. So it really is something else. It does bring this particular kind of joy to you.
Yeah,
This one I think is just beautiful. String of Hearts.
that is pretty.
That is quite lovely. I would definitely have that hanging in
They
my
call it
house.
ball of hearts.
Yeah, I mean, it really looks that's kind of interesting. This one requires a little bit more every 1 to 2 weeks when soil is 2/3 dry.
Two-thirds dry. Jeez.
Hmm. I'm not even beginning to pronounce that one. A
Philodendron.
philodendron, yeah. Not, it kind of looks similar to the ivy plant,
I was
though.
gonna say it looks like an ivy that needs water.
Hmm. Oh, Greek word philo, which means love, and dendron, the word for tree. Oh, it's a love
Love
tree.
tree. Cute.
How cutesy
That's
wootsy.
adorable. Toxic for
English
cats and dogs.
ivy, which
Ha. I know this
almost, it almost looks like poison ivy, but it's
one.
English.
Almost. Mhm.
Like that one would be a scary one to have.
Right?
But English ivy is poisonous to dogs and cats. So if you're thinking
Mhm.
about it, spider plants, I do enjoy spider plants, but my God, they can really, if you don't keep them in a pot, they can kind of take off,
Get
and
out of
and
hand.
they will definitely start reproducing, and then you have to get bigger pots. So this one's one that really grows on you, and you got to keep repotting it. But this one requires a little bit more watering once a week. It's kind of nice. Orchids.
Orchids.
Orchids are one I don't really play around with too much because
Me
they are
neither.
difficult.
Yeah,
The green part will continue to grow and live for a while, but the
the
flower
flower
dies,
part.
and then it's like forever before you ever see another flower kind of
Hmm.
situation. But they are very low maintenance, I will say that. It's just once you get that one bloom, you may not be seeing another one for a
For a
long
while, yeah.
time. Yeah.
You're just gonna be looking at those leaves.
Air plants are kind of interesting. I've never really played with air plants,
I,
but I know a lot of
don't get
people
me
love
started.
them.
I
You've had them?
no, I don't know nothing to say about them. Those are like, don't get me started. I don't know anything.
End up with three or four of them. Chinese
Oh,
evergreen,
that
and
one's pretty.
this is pretty, and also same color scheme as yours as well. Toxic to the plant, to the doggies and the kitties.
Dang it.
Every 5 to 10 days, though, is when you need to water it. Peace
Hey,
lily.
I have one of those.
That is hers. You watering it once a week,
Hmm.
bright indirect light.
Yep.
This plant is also toxic to cats and dogs.
Stay away from my plant.
Oh my God. But beautiful blooms, though. Absolutely
Hmm.
beautiful blooms.
I think, yeah, all her blooms are gone right now. She's just leaves right now.
Yeah, it'll come back after a little bit. And
Yeah.
then we have the snake plant. I keep these in my
Now,
office.
these are hard to kill because I do have a snake plant and I've had that plant for like 4 years and it's still alive. It's not growing very much, but it's still alive.
Yep. And my snake plant, same thing at my office, in my yard, in my have one in the
I'm
kitchen.
hoping
They will reproduce like crazy too.
I'm hoping since I repotted it that
Hmm.
into a bigger pot, like I'm hoping that it's gonna grow more now.
And
I'm
check this
thinking
out.
maybe because it was
Watering
in a
once
small
per
pot, it
month.
wasn't growing.
Once per month is when you gotta water this bad boy.
Once a month.
That's what it says. I don't believe it. I spritz mine
I water that thing once a week.
yep. I spritz mine every day. So
See, and
it's
that's what I need to get better about is spritzing. I don't spritz my babies.
not a ZZ top, but a ZZ plant. Oh yeah. Must rock out in your office every now and then.
Yeah. Okay, now
Uh,
I need one.
every 2 to 3 weeks. That's don't gotta water that much at all.
Toxic to dogs and cats.
It is the toxicity.
Ooh,
A yucca cane plant. Nice, kind of tree-like.
I like it.
Uh, every 10 to 14 days is when you need to water this
Also
bad boy.
toxic to cats and dogs.
Also the toxicity. So this one I have in my office, a pothos, which is also the ivy plant. Now this will grow quite a bit. Like it started off like four leaves that when I bought it, teeny tiny little thing, and now it's just like spread and all across. I'll have to add a picture of it into the story because it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Also known as devil's ivy, which
very
I
fitting.
can get because yeah, man, this one spreads like crazy. One that I also keep in my yard is aloe vera because sunburns are a thing down here.
Yes, they very much are.
Yeah, so aloe vera is super useful and grows pretty good on its own and will reproduce on its own too. So you don't need to really like do anything great, but I keep mine outdoors. This one is, you can do both. You can do indoor, outdoor type of situation, but I definitely keep mine outdoors. I just kind of feel that's the best spot for it. It's kind of
Mhm.
happier out there, but
Yeah,
that's just me. What do
like
I?
the hotter, the drier, the better.
Yeah, pretty much almost. A jade plant, because it's j j j jaded.
Whack.
Uh, let's see. Jade plant once every 2 weeks when soil's completely dry, and then you gotta like this plant is toxic to the pets, so maybe not the
Seems
best.
like a lot of plants are.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the house plants are, so it's like pick and choose. Uh, I'm not even sure how to pronounce this one. A Dracacina margenta? That about right, Roxy?
I think so.
Okay, so we're gonna go with that's what it is. Uh, now
I,
this one I've seen. My mom used to have one. This will get really big, and you do need to get. This one is one that you have to continue to get bigger plants because this thing can get pretty massive. So
mhm.
you gotta be careful with that one, and also toxic. Uh, pepperomia.
Peppermia?
Peppermia. It must be Italian.
You're always throwing accents on things.
Right. It's a medium to bright kind of plant, once every 2 weeks for the watering, not a
It's
issue.
not toxic for the babies.
Yep, not toxic
The
for the
safe one.
babies. So that's the home plants. Let's jump into some good old country living over here.
Yeah. Veggie.
So 11 things you need to know before starting a veggie garden. Want to grow the latest tomatoes? We'll help you set up set you up for success before you even begin. This is by Arika Ellen Sanswan and Christopher Michael. That he had the much easier name to go with. This was published March the 12th, 2025. So basically, this is a kind of get it right type of thing. So I don't know how many, it's 11 things. So we're starting off with number one. Find the sunniest spot. Now, I'm going to tell you this from experience. Number one may or may not be right, depending on where you live.
Right. I think in Texas, you may not want the
You
sunniest
do
spots.
not want the sunniest spot in Texas. You want something that will cast an area that will cast a little shade, whether it's the shade from the house or if you have other trees. You
Hmm.
definitely want something that will cast shade because all day sun in Texas will
No, it'll kill you.
kill
Kill
those
your plant.
plants. It really will. So you need to be very careful about that. I know that's what
You
I
want it to
do.
where it gets the sun in the morning and
Yes.
then
And
cast
then
it.
or maybe like some that late afternoon sun,
Hmm.
but like you don't want it direct all day.
Mm-mm.
It will, especially when they're small and tender like that, and
Oh
you're
yeah.
planting them, they will totally burn them up. So you don't necessarily, this is fine, I'm sure in certain regions, but over here that does not work. So you definitely want to find something in your region that works. Making a water plan is number two. This is true. You do want to be able to,
Hmm.
especially when you first get them in the ground, you're going to have to water them almost like every day until they take some type of root. And that's going to be like your first like week or so. And then after that, you can get more sporadic. Uh, but with this one, they're saying rain is great, which is true, but it's not always dependable, which is also true because it's not like it rains every day. So if you're someone who wants to do the whole rainwater thing, that's great, but you're going to have to do a rain collection system. So normally the cheapest way to do that is like get one of those big old yard trash cans, drill a hole at the bottom, put a water spigot on it, and then at the top cut a hole so the water and turn it inward so the water goes down kind of like in a bowl effect. Put a mesh on it because little buggies and little leaves and stuff will like to try to get in there. And double up on that mesh too to make sure that you're filtering out a lot of dirt and other little junk that could turn the water green. Um, and that's if you want to go that route. There are other systems where you can hook up like this little spongy looking hose to your water faucet and it lasagna it through your garden to keep the soil moist and keep everything kind of nice and wet for your plants. But you need to be careful with that too because that is a higher water bill right there. So,
Hmm.
and also you can cause a root rot with certain plants that just like that is way too much water. Some
Yeah.
of it requires a lot of good drainage. So you gotta be careful with that. So definitely check into what might be the best watering plan for your plants. And you kind of want to group them like, these are the type of plants and veggies that require, water once a week. These are the ones that require it every day and just kind of, separate those in your garden.
Yeah.
Number three, professionally test your soil. You can do that. You can go buy soil kits, from universities and stuff like that. I think even you can find those online at Amazon type of situation if you really want to test it out. If not, chances are you're going to do a raised bed with soil that you're going to purchase. So, that's a decision you kind of have to make, whether you're going to put it directly in the ground of your own land or you're going to do a raised bed. But a raised bed, you don't really have to go off and do all that stuff. So start small for success. Yeah, okay. So this is true. You don't want to go too crazy if this is your first time doing it, because this isn't the point where you want to buy like $300 worth of plants, put them in the ground, and realize you're a really horrible gardener. Because then you've killed $300 worth of plants. So you don't want to do that. Definitely start off small. In my opinion and my own personal type of, thing. Uh, Raised beds don't have to be directly to the ground. You don't always want to be hunched over or on your knees for this kind of thing.
No, it's bad for your back for sure.
Yeah, you can create a higher raised bed so you don't have to do all that. And just in a smaller space. And, you can start off with various veggies. If you're looking at veggies, I'm gonna say things like lettuce, not so much tomatoes in a raised bed that high because depending on the type of tomato, that will spread out and you don't really want that and it will consume the other plants. So really, tomatoes are something you kind of want to keep separate from like things if you're planting like lettuce or other various veggies or things like that. You definitely want to keep those separate. Anything on a vine you want to keep separate as well. So, little food for thought for you. Ha ha ha. Number five, no plot. Get some plot pots. Clever,
Ha
clever.
ha ha.
So, like, if
Ha
you
ha
don't have a
ha.
plot of land, get some pots. There are certain things that will grow really great in pots. And tomatoes can do that, grow really well in the 5-gallon buckets. And you put those in the ground type of situation. So, um, you need some netting and stuff for the tomatoes to climb on if you want to keep them off the ground. Um, but pots are a great alternative, especially if you're an apartment dweller. Grow what you'll eat. This is true. If you're someone who, like me, like I don't like radishes. I think radishes are disgusting. I'm not going to grow radishes. I mean, that wouldn't make sense for me to do that. Like, if I hate them, why am I going to grow them? Because I won't eat them. So then I've just wasted food. Now I could grow them just like, hey, Roxy, here are 85
No,
radishes.
thank you.
Because Roxy will eat radishes. She likes radishes and certain
Mhm.
things, but the thing is, does she use it that much? Probably not. So you have to think about that too. Like certain plants will yield a lot, and you don't, unless you have friends to give them to, don't go too crazy on, growing things you probably don't eat. But definitely pick the stuff you like. If you like cucumbers, do cucumbers. If you like carrots, do carrots. If you like tomatoes, do tomatoes. If you're someone who hates tomatoes, don't plant tomatoes.
Don't do it.
Some people do it because it's the most common thing to plant. And I'm like, no, if you don't like it, don't do it. Like I don't like sage. So when I'm doing my herb garden, I never plant sage or lavender. It's not that I don't totally care for them, but I don't do well with them. And I know that. So, I never plant those. Number seven, buy reliable seed and plants. Yes. So you want to make sure that you pick good, reputable plants or seeds. I'm not saying that dollar store seeds won't grow. They might not. But there's a reason why it's dollar store seeds, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
You look at the more reputable ones like Burpees, Ferry Morris, Johnny Selected Seeds. I've never bought Johnny Selected Seeds. Harris Seeds, I haven't quite done them either. But, the two that I'm used to are burpees and fairies.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, I've used those plants. Always had great, great selection. But here's the other thing. Go down to your local mom and pop like feed store. Even though this is Houston, we have feed stores, and I will go to them
Mm-hmm.
and I will check out what plants that they have, and if I like them, I get them, and I might be paying a little bit more, but I know I'm getting a really excellent quality plant when I'm doing that. So when I put it in my garden, it will live for a good while too. Like
Yeah.
for example, you'll find um and this is no joke. A lot of people will tell you when you're planting herbs, like for me, I love rosemary. And you know, when you buy plants, they're in those little plastic thin containers. I don't like that. I take them out the container and I put them directly into the ground. And no joke, rosemary will grow massive and it will grow a lot and it will live for a few years. When you plant them with those little plastic containers, that restricts the roots so they grow slower, they remain
Mm-hmm.
smaller. If you're in an apartment, fine, I get it. But when you have a yard, let that thing take it out, let it grow wild. I mean, a lot of people like to, it's like, no, put it directly on the ground, let it get big, let it do what it's
Right.
supposed to do. Why regulate it like that? But, blah, 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 blah. Number 8, plant both seeds and seedlings. This helps kind of like, if depending on how big of a garden you got, okay? If
Mm-hmm.
you're doing apartment stuff, don't go crazy with this. Just stick with the pre-plants. If you want to just experiment, like grow like a little seed stuff, that's fine. But if you have like a large plot of land, then yeah, you'll rotate seedling seeds, seedling seeds,
Right.
let it do that thing. Um, the bad thing about it is sometimes it requires you to kind of weed those plants out, like to give them more space. So don't go too crazy because some of these are going to be sacrificial kind of plants. So be careful with that. Again, depending on what you like, tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, consider buying seedlings according to this. Um, it varies. I've never had to do seedlings for any of these. They've always taken off really well as plants for me. And it's kind of good that way because, again, the Houston and Texas sun, you kind of want to give them a fighting chance, you know?
Yeah.
And birds also like seedlings. So you
Yeah.
gotta be careful about the seed things because birds will get there. It's like they know, oh, this man just planted a garden. Let me go down there, scratch that up, and eat the seeds that he's
Right.
planted. So you gotta keep that in mind too. Um, Inspect your garden often. This is so very true. Depending on what type of plants you got in there, you could be attracting some interesting visitors. So, like dill, the butterfly caterpillars love dill. They will eat that thing up real quick. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be very careful about uh, dill because I've tried growing it a couple times. They got big, but then it went away really quick because the caterpillars found it and then they just mowed it down. And it does not take long for them to destroy your plant. Also, okra. Like if you love okra, I love me some okra, but you need to be careful when you plant it. You don't want to plant it close to your house or anything because okra attracts ants. Ants love okra and they love the root system and they will make a colony under that. So now
Mm.
you got to go sprinkle poison on it, which is something you don't really want to do when it comes to your plants, depending if you're a purist or not. Um, but you got to be careful and you got to inspect it quite a bit. So those are kind of my things on that. It will attract every garden's going to attract some type of insect. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way around that. And there's
Yep.
no way around the fact that, it's going to attract birds too, depending on what kind of veggies you're growing.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to inspect it, check them out, keep an eye on it. I don't personally like to use pesticides in
Okay.
my garden. Some people like swear by it and love to do it. I do not. So when I develop an issue, I try to figure out alternatives for it. If it's like caterpillars, I just start picking them off and throwing them somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
If it's ants, that's a whole other situation that unfortunately there's no easy way to resolve that. That one almost requires, sorry, sliding. That one almost requires pesticide because ants are like, once they burrow in, you don't really have a way to get them out.
Yeah.
So that's one of those unfortunate
Okay.
ones where you gotta sprinkle a pesticide on that. But
Number 10.
yeah, you gotta make sure you're good. Number 10, plants flowers. Yes, to grow veggies. Many veggies, such as cucumbers and squash, require insect pollination in order to form fruit. So, yes, this is something that is important. It's kind of like what I was saying. My apple tree will not produce unless A, I have two of them, but B, I have to have bees or wasps or things like that that will cross, butterflies will cross pollinate. Those are all pollinating insects, but sometimes you need other things too. So you have to kind of find decent companion flowers that will attract pollinators. Okay. So various types of flowers or bushes or shrubs that attract pollinators, you definitely want them. Keep in mind, hummingbirds are also pollinators. So
Mm-hmm.
you want anything that will attract that. If you put a little like a little hummingbird feeder or you plant certain plants that hummingbirds enjoy, definitely. And it makes this beautiful, wonderful smelling ecosystem. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
wake up in the morning and you smell all that, it's like, oh my God, so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11, have fun. That's a cop out.
I'm like, really? Number 11?
Enjoy. It should be a pictures of two thumbs up. Enjoy.
Right?
Have fun. Uh it was a wise person who first advised that we stop and smell the roses, blah blah blah. Okay, so we're just gonna jump into
So basically, just enjoy the fruits of your labor.
yes, enjoy your garden. Like I know one of the big thrills for me, like even though right now my herb garden is non-existent. When I get to my office, one of the things that do make me happy, as soon as I open that office door, my plants are there to greet me, and I have one plant that's in like this really cute like lion pot, so it looks like the lion's smiling at me with his. It's kind of fun to go in there and then spritz them, and then just kind of, sometimes talk to them. Talking to your plants helps. They say that
Yeah, I play
really does help.
frequencies for mine.
Yes, frequencies, talking to them, things like that. I think, Roxy, didn't you say you found something like on YouTube that it's like kind of, or something like that online that was the sound for the plants or something like that?
Yeah, on Spotify, I found some frequencies for plants and I play it for them.
Yeah, so you have that, and it's an interesting world we live in now because this tech where you can find things, sounds and songs you can play for plants to help stimulate them, or things for your dogs and cats, those are all,
Yeah.
and you can find all that nowadays. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then just remember, keep it once you get the stuff in the ground or in the dirt, if you're at home just create your watering schedule, adhere to your watering schedule, and two, if it's looking a little brown or sad, keep in mind you may have to repot it because like it wants to grow, plants grow, and so they grow and then they start suffocating in that pot because there's not enough room to grow. So then when you see that, don't just be, I need to add more water because then you can cause root rot.
Yeah.
Get a bigger pot and then watch it just become happier again, and then you'll be good for a few months, if not a year, depending on the plant. So keep those little tips in mind.
Yeah.
Roxy, anything you want to share with your little potting adventures?
No, I'm still learning. I don't have anything to share.
Awesome sauces. So that's all my wonderful knowledge on starting this. Let us know if you start little plant thing. I'm going to give a shout out to this before I do this. Check out your Facebook. Me and Roxy just learned about this, and I'm going to find out when their next event is so we can go there and maybe video it. Um, a plant swap meet.
Oh, yeah.
Do a plant where like you bring a plant and maybe you trade a plant or you trade for seeds or things like that. I imagine this is also a good way to kind of like talk and get tips as to like best practices for
Hmm.
plants or uh, veggies and things like that. So definitely check out your Facebook as a resource. See what that happens. But if you plant something, please send us photos. We love seeing photos. I know I love seeing photos.
Hmm.
Roxy loves seeing photos. To the VCR show at gmail.com. Check out our website at at vcrshow.com. Our email is at the VCR Show at gmail.com. And if you want to share your gardening tips with Roxy, you can at her social medias, which are.
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRocks428, and on TikTok at the PopRocks. And PopRocks is spelled POPROXX.
And as always, I'm Vara.
And I'm Roxy.
And you've been listening to VCR.
Later.
Bye-bye. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow at gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.